let's start with today's beautiful recipe. Now first I've taken this eril, which is also called jowli or long beans. Now I've taken some water. To that I'm adding a little bit of salt. And what I'm going to do is now take off the tips of this eril. Sometimes they do have a string, sometimes they don't. So just take off the tips like this of all of the erils first. Like I said, some of them do have a string, sometimes they just come off like that. Now once that is done, I'm going to break these with my fingers. You can either do it this way or I'll show you the other way also. Just break them up into small little pieces like this, like you would do with gawar bhaji. You can take two at a time also. They are very easy to work with. So you can either do it this way or I'll show you how to do it with a knife also. So you can just take a bunch of them in your hand, just even them up so that they all come together at the tip, and then just take a knife and cut them. So whatever way you find easier for you, you can do it that way. So this is also a very healthy vegetable which you can eat, and I'm going to show you how to prepare it in a very easy way. So once we cut all of this, we're going to soak again, put it in this water, salt water, for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm just going to rinse it out, using a colander and washing it really, really well and letting all the water drain away, like you'll see in the video. So just collect all of them like this, soak them. And then I'm going to just drain them like this and then wash them under my running water really, really well. You have to ensure that you wash your vegetables really well. And now we can start preparing our lovely vegetable. So here I'm just going to heat my pan. Once my pan is nice and hot, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of oil. Now you can use coconut oil also. It gives a beautiful flavor to the dish, but I'm just using regular cooking oil. Now once my oil is hot, I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of mustard seeds. Once the mustard seeds begin to pop, what I've done is I've just coarsely crushed 2 cloves of garlic in my mortar and pestle. So you can add that. I'm going to put a sprig of curry leaves. Let's say about 7 to 8 curry leaves. Then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera. Next, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hing. Now I'm going to add 2 green chilies that I've just slit. I'm going to saute everything really nicely so the chilies get nice and fried. And I'm going to add 1 medium-sized onion chopped fine. Now we're going to bagar the onion really well till it turns nice and translucent. So this vegetable goes really well with as a side, dish to any food like sorak, rice. Now I'm going to add the nicely washed up eril. And we're going to mix everything really well together. So this goes well with sorak, rice, some fried fish. It even goes well with the meat dishes also. And it helps us to get our veggies in, which is really good for health. And once I've sauteed everything, I'm just going to cover and cook this for 7 minutes on a low flame, stirring in between. And you will see that it gets cooked really fast. Now I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder or haldi. Mix everything really nicely well. Now I'm going to add some salt to taste and a pinch of sugar as well. Just a pinch of sugar. And again mix everything well together. Now our vegetable is a little bit done. It's not completely cooked. So to help the process, we're just going to add about 4 tablespoons of water, or less than 1/4 cup of water, just a little water to help the vegetable cook really well. Mix everything well together. And again we're going to cover and cook this for another 2 to 3 minutes till our vegetable is nice and cook and the water evaporates. So you can see now that it's all ready. The vegetable is nice and cooked. You can even, test whether it's cooked by just taking a piece and tasting it. And now I'm just going to add, I put the flame off, and I'm just going to add some freshly grated coconut. This coconut also makes the dish so very tasty. And that's it, friends. Our lovely eril fugat is all ready to enjoy. So let's see how to prepare this lovely Kobi Dal. Now here I've taken one small Kobi or cabbage, washed it well, and I've chopped it up really fine like this. Next I've soaked about 1/4 cup of Chana Dal in about half a cup of water for about 30 minutes after washing it well. This is one light green chili. Now from my spice box I'm going to use half a teaspoon each of mustard, cumin, asafoetida and turmeric, and we require some salt and a pinch of sugar, that's all. So now I'm going to heat a pan and I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of oil. Now this is a very simple vegetable and it cooks really quickly and it tastes really nice with the chana dal added to it. So now I've drained the water from the chana dal completely and I'm going to set it aside. You'll see that it kind of swells up a bit. Now once the oil is nice and hot, we're going to add our mustard seeds, half a teaspoon. Once the mustard seeds begin to splutter, we're going to use half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, add half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. We're going to add the light green chili and fry it well. Now the reason for frying the chili really well is that it flavors the oil really nicely. So ensure that you always fry the chili really well till it has this kind of a white coating on it. Now the flame is low to medium. Next, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida or hinga, as well as half a teaspoon of turmeric or haldi powder. So there's no ginger, there's no garlic, there's no onion. It's a very simple recipe. So if you have all these ingredients at hand and you have your spice box ready, this is a really quick and easy recipe. And it tastes delicious too. So now I'm going to add this soaked chana dal, and I'm going to fry the chana dal really nicely. So take your time with the chana dal and fry it really well for at least half a minute or so. Now when you're buying your cabbage, ensure that the cabbage it looks nice and fresh, and always go for the smaller cabbages. Don't go for the very big ones. Go for the smaller cabbages. They have more flavor. And when you're buying them, check the leaves, and always soak your cabbage in water to which salt has been added for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then take out the outer leaves. I generally do not use the outer leaves, and then wash the cabbage well, and then cut it up really fine like this without using the center part, the stalk part. Discard the white stalk part. So now I'm going to add the cabbage to our bagar or fodni, and I'm going to mix the cabbage in really well so that it nicely gets coated with all of the ingredients of our bagar. Now you should include these veggies in your daily diet. Try to have a little bit of vegetables also if you're a non-vegetarian. And of course, if you're a vegetarian, then the sky is the limit. There's so many vegetarian dishes that you can make, and they're so healthy too. So I've got an entire playlist of all vegetarian dishes, so you can go and check that out. in my playlist section on my homepage, and I got a list of vegetarian dishes, so you can include some vegetable in your diet. So now we're going to cover and cook this for 5 minutes, stirring in between. And whenever you get this water on your lid, just retain the water or add it back to the cabbage, and then mix it up well. Keep an eye on the vegetables that it doesn't stick to the bottom or doesn't get burnt. So keep stirring it in between, but ensure that it cooks really nicely. So at least about 5 minutes, this vegetable cooks really fast. So for 5 minutes, cook it really nicely. So this dal element also adds a lovely, kind of a flavor and texture to this vegetable. So cook it nicely. Keep stirring it in between so that it doesn't stick to the bottom, and also that everything gets evenly cooked. Now once our cabbage is cooked, which takes about 5 minutes, not longer than that. Once the cabbage is cooked, we're just going to add our salt to taste, and then I also like to add a pinch of sugar because that really brings out the flavor in the dish. So just a pinch of sugar, and that's all, friends. We don't need any more ingredients for this dish. It's so simple, but yet it's really delicious. And then of course mix everything nicely well together. Keep stirring it in between, that way everything gets evenly cooked and everything gets nicely mixed together also. So certain vegetables you just like need to just cover and cook them, but certain vegetables you need to just stir in between or stir a little longer so that you get it nicely cooked. And then we're just going to cover and cook it for just 1 minute on a low to medium flame. And that's it, friends. Turn off the heat and your Kobi dal is all ready. So I hope you do give this recipe a try. Do leave your comments in the comment section below, and I'll catch So let's see today's delicious matki usal, which is super simple and easy to make. Now here I've taken half a cup of matki, washed it thrice under water and soaked it in 1.5 cup of water for at least 8 to 10 hours. Now after 8 to 10 hours, I've drained out all the water and again covered and kept it for another 8 to 10 hours. And then you will see that it has sprouted. So now our matki is all ready to be used for making our usal. And I'll leave a link to some other matki recipes that I have also in the description box as well as the comment section below. So let's start with the recipe. So here I've taken a pan, I put it on a low heat and I've added 1 teaspoon of oil. Once the oil the oil is hot, I added half a teaspoon of mustard seeds, half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Then I added some 5 curry leaves which I chopped up fine. Let the curry leaves also flavor the oil well so that it fry in the oil along with the mustard and the cumin seeds or jeera. Next I took 2 cloves of garlic, chopped it fine, and I'm going to add that. So I have another matki usal. I'll leave a recipe for that too. Now I'm going to add half a teaspoon of asafoetida and half a teaspoon of turmeric. Then I'm also going to add half a teaspoon of kanda lasun masala. Now this is optional. If you get your hands on this masala, you can add it. Otherwise, you can skip it. And now I'm just going to add our sprouted matki. And now mix all of this really well together. This is very important for the recipe. We're not going to be adding any water to this recipe at all. And the other matki usal recipe that I have that doesn't have any lasun or anything in it. It's a very simple recipe. But this is a little bit different and it tastes delicious. So now mix everything really well so that all of the oil that is flavored gets mixed with the matki really well. And now we're going to cover and cook this for half a minute on a low to medium flame. Again, take out the lid. You'll see that a little bit of water is there in the lid. Add the water to the matki. So we're not adding any additional water. We're just adding the water or the steam that is there when we're cooking the matki. So repeat this process twice. In Marathi, it is called वाफवणं. So we're basically steaming this. Now I'm going to flavor it with some salt to taste. Mix it the salt in well. Next I'm going to add half a teaspoon of red chili powder and 1 teaspoon of homemade goda masala or kala masala. I'll leave a link to how I prepare my kala masala and goda masala down in the description box below. And I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of grated gur or jaggery. And now mix everything really well together. Now this bhaji is a little bit, as we call it, sursurit. That is a little crispy kind of bhaji. So now just cook this on a low to medium heat for another 1 minute, stirring in between and covering it and cooking it. And just, keep moving it around in the spoon around in the dish. And then you're just going to add 1 tablespoon of coriander. Mix the coriander in well. And turn off your heat. And your matki usal is all ready. So I hope you like this recipe, guys. Do try it out.